Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to watch a short game about typical sacrifices in the opening.
Hi, so we start with an interesting short game, and probably this game can help you in your future games. So, by the way, what's the opening is it? So it looks like Pierce defense. So first black tries not to fight for the center. Instead of this, black plays d6, and sometimes black has a plan to play c5 or to play e5, so it depends. And black tries to attack white's center. So
And
knight
the
f3.
maybe the point why they want to play g6 is to put their bishop to g7.
Yeah, of
So you
course.
can develop your bishops to any diagonal that you choose. So.
Mm-hmm. So bishop goes to g7. And now it's time to develop the light square bishop. And white plays bishop to c4. So when someone develops the bishop like this, first of all, the bishop controls the center, yeah? And at the same time, the bishop is attacking the pawn on f7. So it means that black has to take care about this pawn and, if it's possible, to defend it, or just to continue development. So probably in
And
this
it's
position,
and it's better to have the bishop not blocked, like if it was on bishop to d3.
mhm.
If the
So
bishop was there, it wouldn't be as an open square.
yeah, so probably in this position, this diagonal is the best for the bishop. I think that black could play knight f6 in this position. So this move develops the knight, attacking the pawn. And let's think, would it be so good for white to play e5 in this position? So probably black has to capture. And what happens if white captures with a pawn? What black can do in this position?
They can trade queens.
Yeah, so what do we see? We see that now the white king can't castle. And where would you move the knight? So you can move it to d7, to h5, to e4, or g4. So probably
So here we
g4.
can
Yeah.
create two threats. If we play knight to d4, it will be attacking f2, and if white doesn't stop black's threat by taking if white doesn't stop black's threat, then they could allow the fork, and they're also attacking the pawn.
Yeah, you're right. So to be honest, it looks like a double attack. And I don't think that white can save both of the pawns, right, in this position. So that's why for white it would be better to play knight captures c5. And black can just castle in this position. I hope that everyone knows that usually trading two pieces, yeah, two bishops or two knights, or a bishop and a knight for a rook and for a pawn, usually it's not so good, yeah, because usually two pieces are stronger than the rook and the pawn. If you compare, you will see that 3 plus 3 equals 6, so knight and bishops equals 6, and the rook and the pawn, 5 plus 1, also equals 6. So, but usually two pieces are much stronger. So of course this exchange is better for black, not for white in this position. That's why white shouldn't do this. Yeah, so after castle, I don't think that black has any problems in this position. So this is an example of what black could do here. Instead of this in the game, black played knight to d7. You might think that this move is good because black develops the knight. Yeah, but it looks like black pieces are blocked. Yeah, so the queen is blocked, the bishop is blocked, and probably now white has possibility to sacrifice a piece. So Tara, what ideas do you have? What white can do in this position?
So sometimes it's about the little moves that you make that make a difference. But here we can play a sacrifice, and that's bishop takes f7, and we're going to see if what will lead to that.
Yeah, of course, if black just plays king f8, position is not good. Probably white is going to play knight g5 with idea to make a fork. The bishop is defended, so I don't see any good moves for black. And let's see what happens if the king captures. So this king is on the 7th rank, so of course white has to use position of the king, and probably white has to make a check. So what ideas do you have how white can make a check in this position?
We can go knight to g5.
Yeah, knight goes to g5. And now we have to think about all possible moves for the black king. It's important in chess to think about all possibilities for your opponent. Okay, so what if the king moves back to e8? What can we do?
So in this position, you can trap the queen. And if you play knight to e6, then you see that the queen has no moves. So then white can just take.
Yeah, so of course this position is absolutely winning for white. Okay, now let's think what happens if the king moves to f8.
So now this would be called a fork. If we play the same move, knight to e6, what it's doing is it's attacking the king and it's also attacking the queen. And if you're in check, then you don't have time to save your queen. You have to move your king. So when they move their king, we can take the queen.
Yeah, so white still gets a queen. And the last move that we have to discuss is king f6. Okay, so what can we do? It looks like white has mate in 1. So let's try to find it. So
So the
what can we
technique
do?
would be queen to f3.
Yeah, so we play queen to f3. We attack the king. It
The
can't
king
capture
can't
the
move,
knight.
yeah,
So
because of the bishop.
yeah, what about e6? Why the king can't move there?
Because the knight controls that square. If you see, it's like an L.
And what about e5?
The king can't go there because of the pawn on d4.
Yeah, you're right.
So all the
So,
pieces surrounding the king. So
mm-hmm.
this is why that we want to develop our pieces and
Yeah.
quick.
So this is how the game ended. Yeah. So bishop takes f7 is a very good move. And also this game is a nice example that sometimes in the opening, yeah, it's possible to make a mistake. And it doesn't mean that you have to follow general ideas of the opening all the time. It's very simple just to castle or to play knight c3, but you will miss the moment and then you can't sacrifice the bishop anymore. So even in the opening, in the beginning of your game, you have sometimes to stop and think about the position and maybe try to look for some good possibilities for yourself. So yeah, bishop captures
So
f7 is a winning move.
that's also why we castle. We want, if we castle to the king side, we also give more protection to the f pawn, to black's f
Yeah,
pawn.
of course. Okay, so it was a nice game. I hope that you enjoy this game.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
Bye bye.